Annoying bumps, unexpected jolts, frayed nerves, loose items flying willy-nilly about the cabin, beverage carts out of control. Borderline white-knuckled flyers likely became full-fledged ones after severe turbulence sent more than 24 people to the hospital on Wednesday.
So this happened aboard Delta Airlines Flight 56 after a rare rough ride broke bones and caused multiple injuries, forcing an emergency landing in Minneapolis. If you fear flying is becoming more turbulent, you could be right.
All right, so let's bring in Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot May-Kay Beeler joining us with more here. No one wants to be in these turbulent situations. Even if you like flying, they're scary.
No, severe is just too much. So we're certainly hearing about it more, aren't we? While serious injuries from in-flight turbulence is rare, scientists say they are becoming more common due to climate change. Yeah, last year a man was killed when a Singapore Airlines flight hit severe turbulence, and according to reports, he was the first person to die by turbulence on a major airline in several decades. Well, experts say as climate change shifts atmospheric conditions, be warned because air travel is going to become bumpier, and that's because temperature changes and shifting weather patterns in the upper atmosphere are expected to increase the frequency and intensity of severe turbulence. Now that's defined as when the up and down movements of a plane going through disturbed air exert more than 1.5 G-forces on your body. In other words, enough to lift you out of your seat if you weren't wearing a seatbelt. Wear the seatbelt, right?
Wear the seatbelt.
Yes.
All right, so not to get too much in the weeds when it comes to weather, but kind of help us understand what causes turbulence.
Okay, so we've got different kinds. We've got convective turbulence. Those are clouds and thunderstorms. Never want to get in or near a thunderstorm. Horrible turbulence in that, a lot of updrafts and downdrafts. A storm front when a cold front moves through. Mechanical turbulence, that's the airflow around mountains and buildings. Then you have clear air turbulence, changes in wind speed or direction, wind shear. That can be at any altitude, but specifically around the jet stream is what we're talking about. Then you've got the heat of the day, the thermals of rising columns of air as the day goes on and the sun heats the earth.
And we know that weather has an impact. It's specific areas too, like landing is going to be an issue at those particular airports. Like when I fly home in the mountains, I know it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy landing there. But so with climate change and worsening turbulence, this can make air travel just a little bit more literally bumpy for travelers. So what can you do to kind of calm your nerves?
So if you're a white-knuckled flyer, you can pray, you can meditate, book your flights earlier in the day, before the sun heats the earth and you have those thermals and updrafts and downdrafts. Book it earlier in the day. They've got apps and websites like Turbly, Fly with Courage, and BumpySkies.com. These are turbulence prediction tools that will help you set the right expectations for your flight. So if you know where you're going and you can look on these apps and know before you even step on the plane if it's going to be bumpy or not, that may help you prepare mentally. So also there are other things you can do. So as a flight instructor, I will tell you that you can, if you have a little extra money, go to the local flight school. You can go to Concord or Monroe or Gastonia and book a discovery flight, an intro flight, and fly a little bit and kind of get used to the bumps. So yeah, and I do this all the time. A lot of my flight students initially were very afraid of turbulence. Now we don't go in severe turbulence, we're not stupid, right? But we do go on bumpy days, and you do tend to get used to it if you can expose yourself to it a little bit.
I was going to ask, as an experienced pilot, do you get used to it? Are there ways to avoid it?
There are ways to avoid it. If you were a white-knuckled flyer, I would take you flying in the morning, again, before the heat makes the bumps, or early in the evening. Don't do this, though, because I have taken passengers before. Somebody that took some pills and some alcohol passed out in the back seat.
Oh, my.
And his son told me, well, he was nervous. He drank too much. Well, you don't do that on my plane.
Okay.
And you don't want to do that because you might get sick anyway and throw up, and you don't want to be a sloppy drunk on an airplane. But there are anti-anxiety medicines that you can, there are also courses you can take online to help you overcome your fear of flying. That may help. Nobody likes turbulence, let's be honest. Some turbulence is horrible, like that severe turbulence. Even pilots don't like that. I have flown in conditions where it was so bumpy, I couldn't see the instrument panel. The whole thing was shaking. That's happened on a few, and don't like that. Typically that happens after a sharp cold front moves through. I mean, we pilots, we understand the weather and how to avoid it. But for folks who are passengers and you just want a fun ride, it's not fun when bumps come out of nowhere, so wear your seatbelt.
Yeah, and they can come out of nowhere,
They
right?
can.
As as a pilot commercially, or even for smaller planes, like you're familiar with, you're not trying to make things bumpy.
No.
They can just kind of happen. It can happen.
We don't charge extra for that.
No.
But some
Part of the
people
ride.
do like it. Believe, woohoo, some people like it. Most people don't. So if
Yeah.
you have a queasy stomach, you probably don't like it. So fly in the morning, get those early morning
That's
flights.
smart,
If you know
yeah.
it's going to be stormy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, fly in the morning.
There we go.
Well, I get it's the same issue that we're dealing, with storms back down here
There
on the
you
ground
go.
every
There
afternoon
you
between
go.
like 3 and 6.
Yeah,
It's going to
makes
be
sense.
similar if
Right.
you're flying, so try to
And
book around
pilots,
it.
airline pilots, small pilots, we don't fly near thunderstorms. We need to be out 20 miles away from a thunderstorm because of that turbulence. Or strong front moves through, you're going to have turbulence. So we can predict it, but once in a while it'll just come out of the
nowhere.
blue because of this climate change. So
All right.
fasten your seatbelt, folks, and enjoy.
Okay. All right, May Kay, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.